Have you watched Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, or Argo? If not, you are in for a treat today, because Washington is currently staging a real-life, 3-in-1 blockbuster. Just recently, Iran shot down an American F-15E Strike Eagle. This aircraft is a 2-seat standard, and both pilots successfully ejected and parachuted to the ground. These two individuals are highly valuable assets to the American military provinces. Across Iran immediately issued bounties to capture the American pilots alive. This sent the Pentagon into an absolute panic, prompting them to dispatch C-130 transports, Black Hawk helicopters, F-35 stealth fighters, MQ-9 drones, and a 10-attack aircraft for a massive rescue operation, essentially sending reinforcements in a disastrous piecemeal fashion. The results were devastating. 2 Black Hawks were hit, and 1 A-10 was shot down. Foreign media reports suggest 1 pilot was recovered, while the fate of the other remains completely unknown. People might wonder, do the aircrews on the Black Hawks and the A-10 not count as human lives? Rescuing 1 pilot while losing several more crews is an absolute losing trade. Why would the American military risk a cascading series of aircraft losses just to rescue 2 pilots? You must understand, for the military-industrial complex inside the Pentagon, losing an aircraft is just losing an aircraft. Out with the old and in with the new, the defense contractors still make their money through replacement orders. However, a pilot being captured is an entirely different story that could trigger a geopolitical earthquake. In modern warfare, a pilot being taken prisoner is an extremely low probability event. The personal survival equipment of the American military has evolved into a comprehensive evasion and survival system, from ejection seats with 0-0 capabilities, to GPS locators and encrypted communication devices that activate automatically upon landing. The system ensures that friendly search and rescue forces can penetrate enemy lines in a very short time window. As long as the pilot can evade initial ground pursuit and hold out for 1 to 2 hours, the probability of rescue is remarkably high. But this high rescue rate hinges on one fatal prerequisite. The American military must possess absolute air superiority. In the current Middle Eastern theater, the United States has long lost the absolute dominance it enjoyed during the Gulf War. The reason they are willing to bleed resources to extract these pilots is first and foremost a treacherous political calculation. Once Iran holds American pilots as hostages, the decision-makers in Washington will be entirely cornered. The 1979 Iran hostage crisis, depicted in the movie Argo, serves as a grim precedent. Back then, 66 Americans were held for 444 days. President Carter orchestrated a secret military rescue that not only ended in a deadly helicopter crash, but directly derailed his re-election, cementing it as a profound national humiliation. If it is confirmed today that Iran has captured American pilots, the upcoming elections for the current leadership would essentially implode. Secondly, the American military is calculating a highly classified intelligence risk. A modern fighter jet is a highly integrated sensor platform, and the pilot is its operational core. The tactical knowledge, communication frequencies, identification friend or foe codes, data link logic, and experience reacting to specific radar signals stored in their brain are core secrets that cannot be erased with the push of a button. If a pilot falls into the hands of Iran, or the major powers standing behind it, the foundational weaknesses of American radars and the true reflection bands of their stealth coatings will be entirely exposed. The cost of this technological asset leak far exceeds the price tag of a few F-35 jets. Finally, there is a harsh economic and time calculation. The baseline cost to train a single F-22 pilot is $10,900,000, while an F-16 pilot costs roughly $5,600,000. The time cost is even more lethal. A new American fighter pilot requires 6 years of rigorous training with a washout rate of up to 30%. From 2006 to 2024, the shortage of American fighter pilots surged from 200 to 1,150. You can mass-produce equipment on an assembly line, But these highly trained individuals are irreplaceable. If Iran did capture them, they could maintain complete radio silence, broadcast fake coordinates, and lure American rescue teams into a deadly trap, a psychological and tactical masterstroke. Not only are the rescue missions failing catastrophically, but the United States can barely afford to keep losing these high-value aircraft. As I am writing this, Iran announced the downing of yet another jet and released photos of the wreckage. The LN Europe markings on the debris strongly point to an F-15E from the 494th Fighter Squadron, deployed to Jordan by the United States Air Forces in Europe. The Pentagon initially tried to save face by claiming it was a friendly fire incident, but now they have simply chosen to play dead. This exposes the greatest strategic vulnerability of the American military today. When facing low-cost air defense systems and drone swarms, their high-end equipment is suffering a catastrophic, asymmetric defeat. Iran's D-08 Majid electro-optical air defense system is incredibly cheap to produce. Yet it has become the ultimate nightmare for $100 million F-15E jets and $32 million MQ-9 Reaper drones. The United States attempts to leverage expensive high-end equipment for precision strikes, but against Iran's $20,000 to $30,000 Shahd 136 drone swarms, this model holds absolutely no economic viability. Firing interceptor missiles worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to destroy drones worth mere fractions of that is bleeding the American air defense architecture dry. The strategic echelon of the Pentagon has actually realized this. In their $179 billion research budget for the fiscal year 2026, they are pouring massive funds into artificial intelligence and autonomous drone swarms. They even launched Project Lucas to reverse engineer Iranian tactics, attempting to build dedicated attack drone units to execute high-risk missions with cheap, expendable assets. However, the corruption and inefficiency within the American system have completely distorted these ambitious plans. For the military-industrial complex, even the cheapest drone must be billed at an astronomical price. The previous American drone initiative, designed to rapidly deploy thousands of cheap, smart drone systems to counter Chinese production, cost billions of dollars but was not even a drop in the bucket compared to China's industrial output. Ironically, investigations revealed that the contractors were secretly buying components from China to assemble them, ultimately causing the project to be aborted. Beyond spiraling costs, the American military suffers from severe fundamental flaws in drone swarm technology. To protect their profit margins, different defense contractors use proprietary protocols and data links, meaning the military has no unified operating system. The slightest electronic interference causes them to disconnect. On the Ukrainian battlefield, American-made Switchblade 600 loitering munitions repeatedly suffered from identification friend or foe failures, even leading to friendly fire. In environments with GPS denial and intense electromagnetic jamming, American unmanned systems, which rely heavily on commercial satellite links, are easily paralyzed by basic electronic warfare tactics. This war of attrition in the Middle East reveals a brutal rule for future conflicts. While maintaining high-end technological superiority is important, extreme cost control and terrifying mass production capacity are the ultimate trump cards that dictate victory. The top brass of the American military knows this perfectly well, but they are powerless to change it. Because when they turn their gaze toward that Eastern superpower, a nation possessing unified industrial hegemony and an unimaginable production capacity, they feel nothing but despair. The technological gap might be shrinking, but their capacity can crush you 10 or 100 times over, draining you entirely through sheer industrial might. This geopolitical calculus is one the United States simply cannot balance.